Welcome to today's webinar, Getting the Most Out of the New Amazon EC2 Reserved Instances Enhancements. Our presenter today is Pranesh Ramalingam. Pranesh is a Senior Product Manager with AWS. Today with us, we also have Vasily and Chetan. They are our webinar moderators who will be engaging with you and answering your questions throughout the presentation. Pranesh, welcome. The floor is now yours. Go ahead and unmute your microphone and begin.
This is Pranesh Ramalingam, and I'm a Senior Product Manager on Amazon EC2. Just trying to quickly get my webinar window pulled up right here. Yep, great. All right. So thank you for taking out the time to attend this session on EC2 Reserved Instances. Today we will spend the next hour talking about Amazon EC2 Reserved Instances, how they're more flexible than ever, and how you can lower your AWS bill with them. And finally, we will reserve the last 20 minutes or so to answer any questions that you may have. So let's quickly look at our agenda for today. So what are we going to cover in this session? We will first start off by giving you an overview of RIs, talk about the different types of RIs, learn more about the scope of an RI, dive deep into instance size flexibility, a new feature that we launched a couple of weeks ago, and finally provide you with an insight into how RIs are applied to instance usage. So let's start at the top with a brief introduction to RIs. Customers can primarily choose from three different purchasing options for EC2: on-demand, RIs, and spot. On-demand is a pay-as-you-go model with no commitments. You can increase or decrease your compute capacity depending on the demands of your application and only pay the specified hourly rate for the instances you use. This is suitable for customers that have unpredictable workloads or for applications that are being developed and tested on EC2 for the first time. RIs. This is where we'll spend most of our time today. RIs offer a significant discount over on-demand in exchange for a 1-year or 3-year commitment, and also provide an optional capacity reservation. RIs are best suited for customers that have steady state or predictable usage. And finally, spot. AWS offers you the ability to bid on spare EC2 capacity for up to 90% discount off on-demand prices. Customers who have workloads that have flexible start and end times or who have urgent computing needs for large amounts of capacity can benefit from this model. Now let's take a closer look at RIs. So an RI provides you with a significant discount up to 75% in exchange for a 1-year or 3-year commitment. The discount provided by an RI can be applied across your linked accounts in your consolidated billing family, which is now migrated to AWS organizations. And the RI discount has affinity towards the RI purchasing account, which means that the RI discount will first apply to the qualifying usage in the account that purchased the RI, and then if there are any unused RIs, they will apply to usage in other accounts. An RI can also provide an optional capacity reservation. If you choose to purchase an RI with a capacity reservation, then instance capacity matching the specifications of your RI is reserved for your use only in the account that purchased the RI. Therefore, if you're going to purchase RIs that provide a capacity reservation, then you should purchase it in the account that needs it and is going to use this reservation. There are 3 payment options for reserved instances, each with a different upfront amount. First, no upfront. You are billed a discounted hourly rate for every hour within the term, regardless of usage, and no upfront payment is required. Partial upfront. A portion of the cost must be paid upfront, and the remaining hours in the term are billed at a discounted hourly rate, regardless of usage. And finally, all upfront. Full payment is made at the start of the term, with no other costs incurred for the remainder of the term, regardless of hours used. The all upfront payment option provides you with the highest discount. Let's now talk about RI volume discounts. When you purchase a sufficient amount of RIs, then you are eligible for a volume discount. To qualify for a discount, the list value of all your active RIs should be more than $500,000 in a given region. The list value of your RI is the sum of the upfront and all the recurring hourly payments. The table that you can see on your screen right now shows the applicable discounts depending on the list value tiers. If your account is part of a consolidated billing family, then the list value of all the RIs across all your accounts are used to calculate your discounts here. You do not need to take any action to take advantage of the volume discounts, and these will be applied automatically at the time of purchase. Now let's talk about the various types of RIs that are available for purchase. There are two types of RIs, standard RIs and convertible RI. A standard RI offers you the most amount of discount when you commit to a 1-year or 3-year term. 3-year standard RIs offer a higher discount than their 1-year counterparts. You can purchase a standard RI using the AWS CLI, APIs, or the AWS Management Console. At the time of purchase, simply specify the instance type, OS, tenancy, and AZ. Convertible RIs. Convertible RIs offer you the flexibility to change the attributes of your RI configuration while still receiving a significant discount, usually around 45% off on demand. The convertible RI is useful for customers who can commit for a 3-year term in exchange for a significant discount on their overall EC2 usage, but are uncertain about their instance needs in the future. When you purchase a convertible RI, you can modify the RI across instance families, sizes, OS types, or tenancy. Here are some examples of how you can convert your convertible RI. With a convertible RI, you can convert to a new instance family if your requirements change. For example, you can convert your R3 convertible RI to a C3 convertible RI, or to a T2, or even to an M4. You can convert to a new instance price if AWS reduces the public prices of your convertible RIs, which means you get to take advantage of the new reduced price of the convertible RI. You can change the operating system of your RI. For example, if you want to move from Windows to Linux, or change the size if you want to move from an M4 extra large to an M4 2 extra large, or even the tenancy from dedicated to default or vice versa. And finally, you can even change your payment option. For example, you can change your convertible RI from a no upfront option to a partial upfront option. You can exchange convertible RIs for other convertible RIs with different configurations. There are no limits to how many times you perform an exchange, as long as the target convertible RI is of the same or higher value than the convertible RI that you are exchanging. If you are exchanging your convertible RIs to an instance that is less expensive than the original instance, then you will obtain additional instances to maintain your asset value. When you exchange convertible RIs for an instance that is more expensive, then you may be required to pay a true-up charge. A true-up charge is the difference between the prorated upfront cost of the original convertible RI that you had and the convertible RI that you receive from the exchange. So how do you know if your RI is standard or convertible? The type of RI is denoted by the offering class of the RI. As you can see on your screen now, the offering class for the RI that has been highlighted on the screen in blue is convertible. You can see the offering class both in the list view on the AWS Management Console and in the details view. The RI that has been highlighted right now is a C4 large RI in US East 1 with a Linux Unix platform, which was bought with the all-upfront option for $1,555. This RI has around 2 years, 32 weeks, and 1 day left in its term. Let's now take a quick look at how you can exchange or convert your convertible RIs from the console. Let's say I want to exchange the C4 large RI that we just looked at, which had 2 years and 32 weeks and 1 day left in its term. And let's say I want to exchange it for another target configuration. In the console, you can see the remaining upfront value of the RI. In this case, it's $1,356, which was originally purchased for $1,555. Let's say I want to exchange this C4 large RI for an R4 large RI because now my workload requires a higher memory to VCP ratio. I can select the desired target configuration for the exchange by specifying the instance type, scope, platform, tenancy, and payment option. So as you can see in this screenshot, I've specified those. R4 large as the instance type, scope as region. The AZ is not applicable since the scope is region. We'll chat more about the scope of the RI in just a little bit. The platform as Linux and Unix, tenancy as default, and the payment option as all upfront. And when I click on Find Offerings, I will be able to select my desired target configuration. The prorated upfront value of the R4 large RI is $1,614. And minus the remaining upfront value of the C4 large RI that I own gives me the true-up charge that I'm required to pay to complete this exchange. So in this case, the $1,614 minus the $1,356 gives me a true-up charge of $257. And that's how you can carry out exchanges of convertible RIs. Exchanges of convertible RIs can be easily carried out either from the CLI, APIs, or the AWS Management Console. Now let's chat about a different attribute of RIs known as scope of RIs. The scope of an RI can be region or availability zone. Any RI, standard or convertible, that is purchased for a specific AZ is known as a zonal RI. These RIs provide a billing discount and instance capacity matching the RI configuration is reserved for your use, giving you additional confidence in your ability to launch the instances you need. The billing discount of the RI can be applied to usage across accounts. However, the capacity reservation is only available in the account that purchased the RI. So that was a zonal RI. What is a regional RI? Any RI, standard or convertible, that is purchased for a particular region is known as a regional RI. Regional RIs do not offer a capacity reservation, but offer flexibility and make it easier for you to take advantage of the billing discount provided by the RI. Regional RIs provide AZ flexibility, and effective March 2017, they also provide instance size flexibility. With AZ flexibility, the RI's discounted rate is automatically applied to usage in any AZ within the region. With instance size flexibility, your RI's discounted rate is automatically applied to usage of any size within the same instance family in the given region. The flexibility provided by regional RIs significantly reduces the amount of management overhead for customers, who now no longer have to worry about matching their instance usage to their RI or purchasing the right RI to match their instance. And since the discounted rate is automatically applied, customers do not need to take any action to benefit from the flexibility provided by regional RIs. We will discuss more about instance size flexibility later in this presentation. So let's take a look at regional RIs and zonal RIs side by side. Once again, any RI, standard or convertible, can be purchased for an AZ or for a region. When the RI is purchased for an AZ, it provides a capacity reservation in addition to the billing discount. When the RI is purchased for a region, it offers greater flexibility to take advantage of the RI's discounted rate. You can modify the scope of an RI from region to AZ at any time, depending on whether you require a capacity reservation. And finally, there is no price difference between regional and zonal RIs. So when should you purchase regional RIs? Consider regional RIs if you value the billing discount provided by RIs more than the capacity reservation and would like to take advantage of the broader applicability and flexibility provided by regional RIs. You should also consider purchasing regional RIs if you predominantly purchase RIs in the payer account, but all your usage is in the sub-accounts, because capacity reservation of a zonal RI is only available in the account that purchased the RI. So let's quickly take a look at how you can purchase a regional RI. On the console, the RIs that are shown for purchase by default are regional RIs. You do not need to specify an AZ when you purchase a regional RI. If you would like to purchase zonal RIs, then click on the checkbox that says Only show offerings that reserve capacity. In order to purchase zonal RIs, you will need to specify an AZ so that instance capacity is reserved for your use in that AZ. So how do you know if your RI is regional or zonal? The scope of a regional RI is region, and the scope of a zonal RI is availability zone. As you can see on your screen now, the C4 large convertible RI that we've been looking at in this presentation is a regional RI, with region as its scope. The zone for a regional RI is null because it is not associated with any specific AZ. As mentioned earlier, you can always change the scope of your RI from AZ to region if you would like to forego the capacity reservation in exchange for the flexibility and broader applicability offered by regional RIs. You can do this via the AWS CLI, APIs, or the AWS Management Console. You can choose to change the RI from zonal to regional or vice versa by modifying the RI and changing the scope from AZ to region or the other way around. Let's now chat about instance size flexibility, a brand new feature that we launched on RIs just a couple of weeks ago. Effective this month, Linux and Unix regional RIs with default tenancy provide instance size flexibility in addition to AZ flexibility. With instance size flexibility, your regional RI's discounted rate can be applied to usage of any size within that family. You can now see a normalization factor table on your screen. EC2 uses this normalization factor to apply the discounted rate of RIs to normalized usage. As you can see, the scale varies linearly and increases as the size of your RI increases. So for example, let's say you own an M4 extra large Linux RI which applies to the US East region. This is a regional RI and it provides AZ flexibility and instance size flexibility. Therefore, this RI's discounted rate can automatically apply to two M4 large instances in the US East 1A AZ or half of an M4 2 extra large instance in the US East 1B AZ. This flexibility significantly reduces RI complexity and management overhead since you do not have to worry about launching the instance with the correct size to match your RI or purchase an RI with the matching size of your instance to take advantage of the RI's discounted rate. The normalized units per hour provided by regional RIs can be viewed in the console at the time of purchase. This helps you understand the amount of normalized units that your RIs provide so you can visualize how they will apply to your instance usage. So in this particular example, we can see that the T2 micro RIs with the Linux platform and a default tenancy provide 0.5 normalized units per hour. Now let's look at how RI instance size flexibility is depicted in the Cost and Usage Report, or the CUR. The AWS Cost and Usage Report provides comprehensive data about your costs. This allows you to thoroughly understand individual costs and to analyze them in greater detail. You can use the AWS Cost and Usage Report to track your RI utilization, charges, and allocations. In this slide, we're going to give you a small snapshot of the Cost and Usage Report to help you understand how instance size flexibility applies in the CUR. So let's say that you purchase one M4 extra large Linux RI with default tenancy in the US East region, and you are running two M4 large Linux instances with default tenancy in the US East 1A AZ. Since the RI purchase provides instance size flexibility, it will apply to the usage of the two M4 large instances. The CUR will show you how the instances receive the RI benefits, and we will now analyze this. But before we delve into how this is depicted in the CUR, let me give you a brief overview of the CUR itself as it relates to RIs. In the AWS Cost and Usage report, 3 line items are relevant to reserved instances. These are the fee line item, RI fee line item, and the discounted usage line item. For the purpose of this presentation and in order to maintain simplicity, we've only described the RI fee line item, which you can see with the help of the pointer on the screen, and the discounted usage line item. The fee line item has not been shown in the CUR in this particular example. But let me talk about what each of these individual line items are. The fee line item shows the upfront cost of the RI and is added to your bill when you purchase an all upfront or partial upfront RI. The RI fee line item, which is the first line item that you can see in the CUR right now on this screenshot, indicates the recurring cost of the RI, which is the hourly rate of the RI paid for every hour in the month. These recurring charges are associated with partial upfront and no upfront RIs. In this particular case, you can see that the RI fee line item here describes the recurring charge for an M4 extra large RI, and if you look at this column, it says that the recurring charge is $0.0618 per hour. The RI fee line item is initially added to your bill on the day of purchase and on the first day of each billing period thereafter. If you purchase an all upfront RI, the RI fee line item is not added to your bill since there is no ongoing recurring charge. The last line item that is relevant to RIs is the discounted usage line item, which again you can see is being highlighted with the green pointer on your screen. These are the last 2 line items in this particular example. The discounted usage line item describes the instance usage that received the RI discount benefit and is added to your bill when you have usage that matches one of your RIs. If you have matching usage, the cost associated with the discounted usage line item is always 0, as you can see here. This is because the billing discount and the associated charges are already accounted for in the fee and RI fee line items, which indicate the upfront and recurring costs respectively. So let's come back to the example that we're looking at right now. So as mentioned, you have purchased one M4 extra large RI in the US East 1 region, and you've launched 2 M4 large instances in the US East 1A AZ. Let's now take a look at the first line, which is the RI fee line item once again. Since the RI provides instance size flexibility, you can see that it has data populated in a normalization factor column in the CUR. This indicates the normalized units provided by this RI every hour. In this case, the M4 extra large RI provides 8 normalized units per hour. This RI provides a billing discount every hour of the month, and this is shown as the total reserved units column, which is equal to 744, or 31 days times 24 hours in a day. Since the RI provides 8 normalized units, as it's an M4 extra large RI, this RI provides a total of 5,952 reserved normalized units in the entire month, which is basically 744 times 8. We know that this RI provides instance size flexibility. Hence, this RI will automatically apply to the M4 extra large instances you have running in the M4 large instances you have running in this region. You can see that there are 2 discounted usage line items, one for each of the M4 large instances. These instances have a normalization factor of 4 and is indicated as such in the column normalization factor. Each of these line items has its own resource ID because these are 2 separate EC2 instances. But you can see that the reservation ARN, which is basically the identifier for the RI, is the same for both of these instance types. This shows that the same RI was applied to two instances during that hour, thus providing the RI benefit to these two instances. Now let's take another look at another example. Let's say you have two M4 large Linux RIs with default tenancy in the US East region, and you launch an M4 extra large Linux instance, which is a size bigger than the RI that you own, with the default tenancy in the US East 1A AZ for 1 hour. Since the RIs you purchase provide instance size flexibility, they will apply to the M4 extra large instance. Let us now see how this is described in the cost and usage report. In this example, you can see that there are two RI fee line items, one each for the two RIs you have purchased, with a distinct reservation ARN for each of them. And there are two discounted usage line items, which indicate how the RI has been applied. In this case, there is a single instance receiving the benefit of two RIs, which is indicated by the fact that the resource ID is the same in both the discount usage line items. However, the single hour of usage is split into two lines of 0.5 hours because two different RIs were applied to each portion of that single hour. Therefore, the reservation ARN is different for both these line items, indicating that two separate RIs were applied to this instance. Now let's spend the last few minutes understanding how RIs get applied to your instance usage. And we will walk through some scenarios to explain these in greater detail. RIs are automatically applied to running EC2 instances that match the RI attributes. So if you purchased two C4 large default tenancy Linux RIs in US East 1A AZ, then up to two C4 Linux instances, C4 extra large Linux instances with default tenancy running in the US East 1A AZ can benefit from the RI discount. Alternatively, you can launch an on-demand EC2 instance with the same configuration as the reservation, and the billing benefit is applied automatically. Zonal RIs will apply to your instance usage before regional RIs. This is because regional RIs offer broader applicability since they provide AZ flexibility and instance size flexibility. So they can apply to instance usage irrespective of size and AZ. By applying zonal RIs to your usage before regional RIs, we are ensuring that you receive the lowest possible AWS bill. RIs provide a discount across all accounts in your organization. However, instance usage in the account that purchased the RI receives the benefit first. And if there are any unused RIs, then they provide a discount to usage in other linked accounts. In the case of RIs that offer instance size flexibility, there is no instance size affinity. Or said differently, there is no preference given to any particular instance size. Therefore, the RI will apply to the first qualifying instance that is detected by the AWS billing system. Now let's walk through some scenarios to explain how RIs are applied. In each of these scenarios, the customer has a set of instances running and a set of RIs, and we will explain how the RIs get applied to those instances. Let's say a customer has the following instances: 4 M3 large Linux default tenancy instances in the US East 1A AZ, 2 M4 extra large Linux instances in the US East 1B AZ, and finally a C4 extra large Linux instance with default tenancy in the US East 1C AZ. And let's say the customer has the following RIs: 4 M3 large Linux RIs in US East 1A. This is a zonal RI since it applies to a specific AZ. 4 M4 large Linux RIs that apply to the US East 1 region, which is a regional RI. And also 1 C4 large Linux RI, which applies to the US East 1 region, which is also a regional RI. So in a sense, the customer has 1 zonal RI and 2 regional RIs. So how will the RIs get applied? The discount and capacity reservation of the 4 M3 large RIs is applied to the 4 M3 large instances because the attributes match between them, which is the instance size, region, platform, tenancy, and instance size, AZ, platform, and tenancy. The M4 large regional RIs provide AZ and instance size flexibility because they are Linux RIs with default tenancy. Therefore, the 4 M4 large RIs provide the billing benefit to an entire hour of the 2 M4 extra large instances. And finally, the C4 large regional RI in US East 1 also provides the AZ and instance size flexibility. Therefore, it applies to the C4 extra large usage. However, since the RI is a smaller size compared to the instance that is running, which is a C4 extra large, the RI provides partial benefit. Based on the normalization factor, the C4 large RI will apply to half the usage of C4 extra large, and the remaining C4 extra large usage will be charged at on-demand rate. Let's take a look at another scenario. In this example, let's say a customer has 3 accounts, A, B, and C. Let's say the customer has an M4 extra large Linux instance running in US East 1A AZ in account A and in US East 1B AZ in account B. And let's assume that the customer has RIs in accounts A and C. In account A, the customer has one M4 extra large Linux RI for the US East 1 region, which makes it a regional RI. On account C, they have an M4 extra large RI for the US East 1A AZ, which makes it a zonal RI. Now, how will the RIs get applied? Since zonal RIs are applied before regional RIs, the zonal RI owned by account C is applied to the M4 extra large usage in account A. And then the discount provided by the regional RI owned by account A is applied to the usage in account B. This is done so as to reduce your overall AWS bill. If the RI is owned by account A was first applied to the usage in account A, then the RI owned by account C would remain unused and usage in account B would be charged at on-demand rate. Therefore, AWS will always try to lower your overall bill and apply the unused zonal RIs before applying any regional RIs that are owned in that particular account. And finally, let's take a look at the last scenario. The customer has 2 C4 extra large Linux instances running in US East 1A AZ and 1 C4 2 extra large Linux instance running in US East 1B AZ. And the customer has 1 C4 2 extra large RI in the US East 1 region, which is a regional RI. So how will the RIs get applied? The discount of the C4 2 extra large RI can apply to either the C4 2 extra large instance or the 2 C4 extra large instances, depending on which usage is detected first by the AWS billing system. There is no preference given to a particular instance size in this case. Hope these examples helped you understand more about how RIs get applied. So let's summarize what we've discussed so far. Choosing the right RI will allow you to derive the maximum amount of discount. Standard RIs offer the deepest discount for predictable workloads. Choose a convertible RI if you're unsure of your instance requirements and would still like to benefit from a significant discount. Any RI, standard or convertible, purchased for an AZ, also known as a zonal RI, offers a capacity reservation to give you confidence in your ability to launch instances when you need them. You can choose to forego the capacity reservation and purchase any RI, standard or convertible, for a particular region. Regional RIs offer broader flexibility of your RI discount in the form of AZ flexibility and instance size flexibility. So if you value the RI's discount and flexibility more than the capacity reservation, then you should choose to purchase a regional RI. Regional RIs make it easier for you to take advantage of the RI's discount and considerably reduce RI management overhead. And with that, we conclude this webinar, and we will now open up the forum for any questions that you may have. Thank you once again for spending time with us to learn more about EC2 Reserved Instances.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Pranesh, for a great presentation, and also to our moderators for engaging with our audience throughout the whole presentation. On your screen, you will see four.
So the first question I see here is, how long has there been an RI volume discount? The RI volume discount has been around for since the RI product has been available and is automatically applied to any purchases. The next question is, can you see which running instance is aligned with a specific RI? In your cost and usage report, which is generated every hour, you will be able to see which RI is applied to which instance, and then you will be able to match the reservation ARN, which is the resource number or the identifier for the RI, to the resource ID of the instance itself. The next question here is, instance size flexibility only available for regional RIs and not for zonal RIs? That is correct. Instance size flexibility is available only on regional RIs on the Linux Unix platform with a default tenancy. Next question is flexible usage available for Linux only and not Windows? So I'm assuming the question is instance size flexibility available only on Linux and not Windows? Yes, as of now, instance size flexibility is only available on the Linux Unix platforms. Another question here. How do we link accounts to apply RIs across both? So if you have multiple linked accounts, you can sign up to be a part of the consolidated billing family, and which is now part of AWS organizations. And then all your accounts that are linked would then receive the RI benefit.
Everyone, please give us a minute as we collect some more Q&A questions. Thank you for your patience. Question. I don't think no. Go ahead. Check in. I can't hear you in the Adobe Connector.
Yeah, I'm just looking at additional questions here.
Great.
So there's a question on, if you have an RI with half of the normalized unit of the running instance, can I purchase another RI with that half normalized unit to cover the entire cost of the running instance? Yes, you may purchase multiple RIs to cover a particular instance. There's a question on, can I convert my existing zonal RI to regional RI? Is it free if my commitment stays the same? Yes, there are no charges for modifying the scope of your RI, so you can choose to convert, or rather modify your zonal RI to regional RI at any point in time. There's a question on, if I purchase RIs from my console account, how will RIs available to use show up in my linked account? If you would like your RIs to apply across multiple link accounts, then you should sign up for consolidated billing so that all your accounts can then receive the RI discount. The question on, is instance size flexibility available for Red Hat Enterprise Linux? No, as of now, instance size flexibility is only available on the Linux Unix platforms, which does not include Red Hat Linux or SUSE Linux. So a question on, what happens if I buy RIs for a year and when the year is over I still have some unused credits? The normalized units or the discount provided by the RI will be used within the hour. If there is no matching instance usage to take the benefit of the RI, then that benefit of the RI is lost in that hour. So question on, where do I find out which instance the RI is applied to? You should be able to see that in the cost and usage report. The snapshots that I gave you on the CUR during this presentation have much more information on which RIs were applied to which instance types. There's a question on, does the CUR indicate how many portions of the RIs remain unused for each hour? Well, it actually shows the number of normalized units provided by that particular RI in that hour, and then it goes on to show the instances to, or the resources to which the RI was applied. There's a question on, what does it really mean when capacity reservation is not for regional RIs? Does it mean you might not get it when you need it? Regional RIs do not provide a capacity reservation, but offer you greater flexibility in order to take advantage of the billing discount. If you require a capacity reservation, then you should purchase a zonal RI, which is an RI that applies to a specific AZ. There's a question on, where or how do I get these cost and usage reports? You can get the cost and usage reports from the billing dashboard on the AWS Management Console, and there's also documentation available on this in the AWS documentation.